One of the things that I wanted to talk about in that book was the fact that prior to the enslavement of African people, prior to colonization, which I place at around the end of 1492, beginning of 1500, that year span, there is nothing in the historical record. There's nothing either in our oral history, our written history. There's nothing on the walls of pyramids, nothing in the libraries from the ancient times that would ever suggest that prior to being told that we had to have a European standard of beauty in order to access power in our society, there is no evidence that Black women or Black men were searching for a magical juice or berry in the bush to make their hair turn straight or to make their skin lighter. That does not happen until a system of domination and enslavement forcibly trafficked, we should say, African people by the millions from our natural space where we were perfectly content with our rituals. We had time and systems in place culturally that would allow us to care for our hair. We all know that you cannot just get up and go with natural hair. It takes time. There is a process. And we had the rituals. We had language through our hair. Ayanna Bird and Lori Tharp in their book, Hair Story, talk about the fact that you could identify your community group, your position in that society, your role, and how you were related to other people.
By your hairstyle.
By your hair texture. It was another form of communication. It is only when racism is created as a justification for the enslavement of African people, and we were told that our hair was animalistic, we were told that it was a sign of our inferiority. It in and of itself was a sign of our inferiority. That is when we began realizing that there are benefits that one could secure in the society if one had straighter hair or lighter skin. And that is the birth of texturism, that is the birth of colorism, and that is really the time where we began to see Black women and Black men, because Black boys failed the doll test too, began to adopt ideas that basically tied our access to power with how straight our hair was or how light our skin was.
So let's talk about internalized racism, right? I mean, so we're dealing with all of these issues and we want to manipulate our hair so that we are more beautiful. But that's a lie.
Yeah.
So talk about that piece of it, that underlying piece, that piece that robs us of dignity, that robs us of self-esteem, that does real psychic damage to us.
Absolutely. There's something very dangerous about learning to view your worth and your value through the eyes of people who have based their entire national economy and state of being on your oppression. Very, very dangerous to take that perspective through which one evaluates yourself, whether it comes to your sense of intelligence, whether it comes to your sense of your personal capacity or the capacity of your people, and certainly when it comes to your aesthetic. And so I use a phrase in the book, a Black white supremacist, which is how I described myself.